Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. If you ask a politician a question that requires a yes or no answer, and the first word out of their mouth is not yes, you know the answer is no, but often they can't say no. And so what do? They prevaricate, they deflect, they spin, or they change the question. They do anything other than give the answer you want, because yes or no both look bad. And that is precisely what happened in a car crash interview with Ian Blackford. Now, Bunter was up there. He was being questioned by Cathy Newman, I think it was, on Channel 4 News. And she asked him if Nicola Sturgeon was wrong to delete the WhatsApps. And he just couldn't answer the question. He knew whatever he said would be bad one way or the other. Let's take a look at this article to see how bad it is, how awful he is, and why people like Blackford really need to retire from politics. Because the lies come thick and fast. In this case, lies by omission, but lies nonetheless. Here goes. Yeah, so this was on the evening after. I think it was Wednesday evening, and it was after Sturgeon gave her evidence on Wednesday. And Bunter was up with Channel 4, and they were asking him questions and that. And he was then asked a series of questions that he completely failed to answer. He just could not answer it. And so, he just refused to. What could he say? Yes, she was wrong. Well, that makes Nicola look bad. Or no, she was right. Which makes all of them look bad. It's a terrible thing, isn't it? The former SNP Westminster leader rushed out to defend the ex-minister again as she faces growing criticism over her deleting of WhatsApp messages during the COVID pandemic. And of course, the big thing, of course, was the timing of it. And then the lies, literally the lies that she was telling. No wonder the tears coming down her face. She knew her political career was over. They weren't tears for the people who died, of course, only for herself. Ian Blackford repeatedly refused to say if he thought Nicola Sturgeon was wrong to delete her WhatsApps during a car crash interview about his former boss. The pair are close friends among the SNP elite, and he served as Westminster leader during her reign as First Minister, until he was ousted because everyone had had enough. The Sky, Le Harbour and Ross MP has been trotted out by the news programmes numerous times during the UK COVID inquiry, as he's slavishly backed Miss Sturgeon despite growing criticism. He is her little lickspittle down in Westminster. Nick can do no wrong in his eyes. Presumably she's the one that controls the cabinet where all the pies are kept. So of course he has to do what she says. The humble crofter, humbled by a wee golem of Govan Hill. This came to a head on Wednesday as she gave evidence in Edinburgh and was forced to admit that she wiped her pandemic WhatsApps, even though she shouldn't. Leading counsel Jamie Dawson asked her repeatedly if she deleted them, and with the former First Minister failing to say she did, instead claiming she preferred to say retain, and adding, I didn't retain them, in line with the procedure I've already talked about. And then she finally admitted, because he wasn't giving up, that yes, she deleted them. She was trying to use the language, trying to change the terminology, so that it didn't make her look out as someone who would be destroying evidence that would put her in prison. Anyway, Mr. Blackford was questioned on Channel 4 News on Wednesday night, and he defended his former boss to the hilt, as he repeatedly refused to say whether she was wrong to wipe the messages. This has been roundly condemned by the Scottish COVID bereaved. Of course she was wrong. We all know she was wrong. But he can't say that because, he's got this strange, fascinating loyalty to her. And yet he's leaving. She's gone. And you wonder why. Are they chums in other ways? Maybe she's not what we thought. Maybe she's the one he's leaving his wife for and setting up that little love nest in London. Who knows? Maybe the humble crofter is a bumbling crofter after all. The fumbling crofter. Who's he fumbling? Couldn't be Nick, could it? No. Anyway, the journalist asked about the fact that no Gold Command meetings seem to be minuted, with these being high-level government summits. She added that it looked very much that this government had officials talking about finding where the clear chat button was. And we covered that this morning with Thompson. This is all government internal secrecy, and there could be pretty obvious reason why. Alex Salmond's trial to factor. There was a police investigation into the finances, and they have every reason to want to keep that a secret. And of course, the attempted possible conspiracy to murder 4,500 people in old people's homes, allegedly. Mr. Blackford said the First Minister made sure that if there was anything that was being discussed in the social media messaging was needed for the conduct of government business, then that would have been routinely recorded. And she said that is what took place. Said, yes, but we now know she's a liar. She's proven that. She's admitted it herself that she lies. He was interrupted by Cathy Newman, who asked him if Miss Sturgeon was wrong to delete her messages. And the SNP MP failed to respond, instead catapulting into a rant about the review announced by Humza Yousaf into the use of social media messaging and the retention of it. Not answering the question is the best way to not answer a question. The Nationalist said this is a big issue for all of us, including me, who is in public office. He was asked again if he thought it was wrong, and once again did not answer, instead stating that he was taught to delete social media messages as that's the advice we get for security reasons. And we know that's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. For security reasons, you wouldn't be doing it on a phone. He then went on to claim that Miss Sturgeon had given proper answers to people who had questioned her when she appeared at the UK inquiry. He was obviously watching a different inquiry to the ones we were watching. The journalist asked him to give a yes or no answer about the former First Minister was wrong to delete messages, and finally said no, because at the end of the day, she'd made sure all appropriate information has been handed over. So he finally said no, she was not wrong to delete it. And yet everyone else says yes. And that is the problem with the SNP. They think deleting evidence, destroying evidence, is absolutely fine. Marvellous, isn't it? Government by people who destroy evidence. Do you trust them? Would you trust them if they said, "Oh, this new wonder drug will save your children's life if your children get leukemia," and then they start deleting all the evidence of it? Would you trust them? I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could comfortably spit a rat. But there we go. I'm coming up. Before we go any further, I must apologise. I deeply apologise. I know that by the time this video goes out, it'll be about lunchtime, and some of you may be eating. And then I've just put this image of your mind of Bunter on his back, Nippy on top, banging away, because she'd have to get on top of him, let's be honest. Banging away in their little London love nest. I know, and it's enough to give you the boke, isn't it? So I apologise for that image. Anyway, yeah, it just goes to show he don't like answering questions. He doesn't like tough questions. And for some reason, he has this massive, strange loyalty to a woman who is finished. She's done. Everyone else is distancing herself. Yeah, he's one of those little last loyalists. You know, he's the Himmler of the SNP, isn't he? Or the SSNP, should we say. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and get a mop and pick up the boke, because, you know, that's the thought, isn't it? Ugh. A wee scrawny backside. Stop it. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.